I've been covering a bunch of changes from the mid-season patch recently, and you guys have really seemed to be enjoying that content. So in this video, I'm going over another exotic primary that I think is now one of the best in the entire game, which is Sunshot. Now, before people say it's been one of the best forever, it really hasn't. I think Sunshot's great, and as far as exotics go, explosive rounds and having built-in incandescent is also great, but when hand cannons are bad, so is Sunshot. And hand cannons have been trash for a hot minute. That said, in the mid-season patch, all hand cannons received a 20% buff to the damage dealt against red bars and orange bar enemies, which are the two main enemies that you end up using primaries against. So all in all, hand cannons feel much better now, and Sunshot feels pretty insane. For starts, the explosion damage actually kills things when under power now. There is definitely a large damage fall-off effect, which you would expect on anything like this, so when enemies are far away, they're not gonna die, but even while slightly under power in the Legend Avalon mission, this blast would kill. And then scaling it up to the Legend campaign where you're 15 power under and you're held there, which is super similar to contest mode, it's just as good. Still able to 2-tap every red bar, the explosions kill, and you can also 2-tap with just a body shot and a headshot, so you don't even need to be that accurate. Quickly looking over at Sunshot in a bit more detail, first and foremost, we do have this perk, which is Sunblast. Anytime we get a kill with Sunshot, that enemy is going to be exploding, dealing solar damage to all nearby enemies. This is going to be very similar to something like Firefly, which does a pretty good amount of damage with that explosion. I would say Sunshot even does more damage, and recently it also got a change to kind of make it a hybrid with Incandescent, because when you do get a kill, this is going to spread 10 to 15 Scorch stacks depending on your fragment setup. So not only are we dealing a good amount of damage with the explosion here, but we're also scorching enemies. Then Sunburn is just a super fancy way of saying that this weapon has explosive payload, which is really nice because it decreases our damage drop off at range. And then lastly, the Catalyst, as you can see with the stats, is going to be giving us 30 range and then 20 stability. So that's super nice for the recoil direction and then also for, again, not having damage drop off. The reason a perk like Sunblast is especially strong with Sunshot now is because of these Scorch stacks, which synergize with Solar 3.0. One of the strongest fragments that we have access to is obviously Ember of Singeing, and with Ember of Singeing, anytime that we apply Scorch stacks to an enemy, we get a faster ability cooldown rate for our class ability. Specifically, we're getting a 300% increase to our tier 3 or base cooldown rate, and since we can infinitely apply Scorch with Sunshot, that means we pretty much get that 300% increase infinitely. On something like the young Ahamkara Spine Trip Mine spam build, Singeing is actually pretty crucial. Trip Mines and our Knife Trick both apply Scorch, allowing our class ability to reset in a few seconds. But if you end up messing up the rotation by missing a knife or even your grenade or dodging too far away to the point that you don't get a refund for your melee, then you just need to wait for abilities to return, which sucks. Having built-in Incandescent prevents this, because as long as you have an add to kill, Scorch will then spread and apply to other nearby adds, and as you can see, we're able to get our dodge back extremely quickly, so the cycle can start back up again. The other thing that I didn't really talk about in my recent Trespasser video is how strong exotic primaries are for endgame content now. Also, if you guys do want to see that full Trespasser video, a link will be in my description down below. But the main reason that I think exotic primaries are extremely strong right now is because of the heavy ammo economy in Destiny 2. Heavy ammo finder mods are pretty useful and can be paired with scout mods to help supply ammo for your team. On top of this, since primaries tend to be harder to get kills with, especially in endgame content, compared to heavies and specials, these give a 4.25x multiplier on how much heavy drops. And exotic primaries take this one step further by giving a 5.05x increase. Technically, the ammo finder system does work on a counter system, so after a certain amount of kills, a heavy drop is 100% guaranteed. There's no RNG involved, meaning exotic primaries just help you reach that counter value faster compared to all other weapons. For reference, special weapons have a 1.05x multiplier. So if this takes roughly 80 kills to drop a single brick at base, that's going to be around 76 kills you need to get when using a special weapon to add clear, but only 16 kills if you have an exotic primary. To me, this system is incredibly broken, and I did make a video covering it when Lightfall released, but having an entire team on exotic primaries like Sunshot means you can have a sea of heavy ammo drops in any raid, dungeon, or any add clear setting. Also, ammo scouts do scale this up by around a factor of 2 because this doubles the amount of ammo in finder bricks for your team. So if you end up having 2 of these on with one finder, every brick your teammates make for you will then have double the ammo in it for you and all other teammates, and the same goes for bricks you make for your teammates. The last major thing Sunshot is pretty well known for is infinite restoration. Ember of Empyrean allows solar weapon final blows to extend the duration of radiant and restoration effects, so people tend to use this to get that infinite duration. The reason that Sunshot ends up being better than most other primary options is because of the fast kill time, the great range, and explosions, all of which allow you to easily maintain this duration. The 20% buff also makes it so that you now have the base weapon being equivalent to how it used to be with Radiant. So now Radiant on top of this makes it even stronger. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing a full Sunshot Infinite Restoration build, but that's pretty much it for the video. No point making it longer than it needs to be. Sunshot is insane now. Try it out in some harder content, and I think you'll enjoy it. Might not be the GM meta, but I don't really consider GMs too hard. But in something like a Master Raid, I think it'll be extremely strong, allowing you to gen heavy ammo, especially if it matches the active search. As always, I do stream a bunch over on my Twitch, where I run a lot of low mans and speedruns. A link to that and my Discord are both in the description below. That's all for this video. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.